Yep, I have coffee today. It's a Christmas mug. That's all we have left at my store is a bunch of seasonal stuff. Everything else is gone. Now you have to smell cranberries and pine year round, because that's all they got left. 10 billion pallets of Christmas play. Alright, we're in Job chapter 12. We're going to start in prayer, and then I'll figure out where we were last time. It's been several days since I was here, so I have no idea where I am right now. That's how short my memory is, or maybe that's how it's getting. I need more coffee. Maybe I don't. Start in prayer from Matthew chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore pray ye, Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Amen. All right. Job, chapter 12. We left off last time with Zophar accusing Job of being a hypocrite and a liar. Just yesterday, I turned on the TV, but I had to do something else, on there. I was flipping to be able to use something else, another console. I was using a PlayStation. So as I was flipping to that, to talk to my friends on there, it was on Daystar, and there was this fat old man, doctor or whatever, and then there was this young, perfect guy in his 30s, probably the representation of me if I were, perfect and successful, and had a perfect wife that was right next to him. She's gorgeous, she's perfect, and she's just listening to this fat moron who's talking about marriage and all this stuff. And that's a pretty good representation of how I feel about these idiots critiquing Job. I mean, sorry to sound so mean, but that's what it is. Like, how dare you talk to me about anything when you've got that for your wife? And then that old man, he's probably, they have no idea. They have no idea. Same thing here. These idiots, Eliphaz and Zophar, they have no idea. And it's so frustrating. It makes me so mad, and this coffee is making me worse. I'm sorry. This should be good. Job's going to answer them, and he's going to say the same thing that I just said. You're a fat moron, and what business do you have giving me any advice when your wife looks like that? And you've been blessed with this perfect life, and your perfect wife, and your perfect house, and this perfect studio, and this perfect illusion. in front of us that you're displaying in front of everybody on this day star. It's an illusion. Have you ever lived a day in a conflicted world? In this fallen world, have you lived a day? Do you experience what I experience? Do you see what I see? No, you don't. Terrible example. Breaking Bad. The scene where he says profanity to Gretchen. You know, when she finds out his lie, and then his response to her when she says, Walt, I feel so sorry for you, Walt. And then his response, I won't do it, but that is my response to these religious yo-yos today. And these idiots here, Zophar and Eliphaz so far, that's how Job should respond to them. But see, Job he's so much better than me, you know. Job is such a greater, he has so much more class. He would never stoop to my levels of stupid, okay? Job is going to cut him down and not use the crudeness that I would use, okay? Okay. Chapter 12 of Job. Job answers the three. He is familiar with their platitudes. I've never known the true meaning of platitudes. I just know it from a quote from Smallville. Lex Luthor says it to Jonathan Kent. Jonathan Kent is accusing him of this and this and this, and you know, Jonathan Kent hates the Luthors because they stole a bunch of land, you know, land snatching. And Lex Luthor says to Jonathan Kent, don't give me any more of your sanctimonious platitudes. And I think it's like excuses or ridiculous gestures, that kind of thing. I don't know the specific definition or the actual meaning, but that's what it is. They you know, like the Daystar program that when I turned on the TV, you know, they come up with these legalistic excuses, these just their experience from their perspective, and they haven't lived a day in your shoes or my shoes. You know, just like when I point my finger at, I encountered a young woman yesterday. Hang on. My coworker. She just left. She got a better job. I like this lady, you know. And I don't even begin to put myself in her shoes, you know. And I could never point my finger at her with the experience she's had in her life, you know. And any monster that starts to do that should just be, it's so frustrating. She has 3 kids now, I think 2 or 3. I think 3. Her son is in prison now for a decade, or is going to be in prison for a decade. Her husband is in prison. I don't know if he's ever going to get out. And yet she still keeps moving forward. She's now got this full-time job selling insurance. I don't know about that. I couldn't take that. I would want to murder everybody after dealing with one phone call. So I couldn't take that. But she's got a lot more patience than I do. You know, that's for sure. And her I think one of her children I think both of her children are special needs in different ways, you know. The one has autism and the other has some skin problems, I guess. So she has so much on her plate, and yet she's still moving. She's still a good mom, and she still keeps moving forward. That's incredible. But some jerk religious legalist would approach the situation and point his finger at her and come up with all these excuses on why she's bad and why she doesn't do this and all this other garbage, and it's under the same realm. You have no effing idea. I need to get into the Bible now. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have drank that coffee, probably. I shouldn't have turned on the TV either. Seen that fat guy. Job answers the three. He is familiar with their platitudes. Verse 1. And Job answered and said, No doubt, but ye are people. But ye are the people, and wisdom shall die with you. But I have understanding as well as you. I've lived in this world as much as you have. I am not inferior to you, yea, who knoweth not such things as these. Right. I know all this. I know bad people get shot, usually, and I know good people usually succeed. I know that. But sometimes, maybe not, you know. Who knows? I don't know. You don't know either. You... 4. I am as one mocked of his neighbor, who calleth upon God, and he answereth him. The just upright man is laughed to scorn. He that is ready to slip with his feet is as a lamp, despised in the thought of him that is at ease. I think the theme of what he's saying is, you know, because those are famous verses, a lamp to my feet, and usually somebody who's mocked, you know, God is going to take care of it, but he's saying how it plays out in the opposite at times. So I think he's saying he's clarifying the not necessarily, which is the consistent response to these hypocrites or these legalists, is though usually God will reward the righteous, but there are times when the righteous have trouble. You know, it's not this perfect lollydrop, gumdrop, lollyloola, lollydoodah day world, you know? Like so many of these, like you go to the church that's on McCord near here. You can probably look up that church. That's all you need is that word, McCord. And that's a very nice church. And you can look at it from an outside perspective, like I have, you know, and that's wrong for me to think like that, I know. But it's almost a perfect place. Like all the people are perfect, beautiful, perfect church. There's not any dust or dirt anywhere. Everything looks perfect. The pastor looks perfect. He's doing a perfect. He even uses Microsoft Office. He uses the what's it called? Microsoft. You know, when you display a presentation on a board, what is that called? I can't. It's ridiculous that I can't remember the name, but everything's very nice in this church. And you think every church is like that? That everything's perfect and there's nothing wrong? You know, the church that I used to go to, it was actually very nice on the outside. But then you go on the inside, there's all kinds of internal problems with church administrators, and there were always problems with the pastor dealing with the church administrators. I think it was that church administrator that was really causing all the problems in that church. But the reality is there are problems. There are situations that come up. Every church isn't just this religious display of perfection that everybody assumes. You know, like my friend. Maybe he looks at me and he scoffs at me because he thinks I'm perfect. You know, I'm certainly not. Did you see my introduction to this video? It's terrible what I said. I am not perfect. And even the most outward display of error, you know, it's not true. And this world, no matter how you paint it, how you put that slap of paint on there, this world is not perfect. It's very flawed and it's very corrupt. And you have to be clinging to Jesus Christ 24/7, otherwise you'll get swept away with it. What's the word? When you have to, when you walk out your door, Frodo, kick your feet, or you may not know where you end up. Something like that. Isn't that the line from Lord of the Rings? Bilbo is saying that to Frodo. It's a quote. It's saying, be on your toes, be ready, in season and out of season. This world is an insane asylum. But they should know that, but they're being religious and legalistic, and everything is perfect, and we live in the perfect world with no conflict, and there's no Satan. Oh, that's no reality. What is that? Who is Satan? Shouldn't drink coffee. There it is. Slip with his feet. That's probably where Tolkien got the line. He that is ready to slip with his feet is as a lamp despised in the thought of him that is at ease. It's such a complicated sentence. I think that's what it's saying, though. It's his response to the not necessarily's. I don't know. 6. The tabernacles of robbers prosper, and they that provoke God are secure, into whose hand God bringeth abundantly. I mean, that evil usually does lose, but you look at the things happening right now, you know, with these riots and with billionaires manipulating these rioters to go riot because they have no jobs. They all got liberal art stupid degrees. So now all they have to do is go riot, and they get paid apparently to do that. I have no idea what my point was. His point is that this is not a perfect world. Yeah, there is a conflict. There are anomalies and problems. We all have them. Be realistic. Don't be that facade on Daystar. That's what that was. That's why I wish I could just not turn on regular TV. You know, I wish there was some way that you could function the TV that I wouldn't have to turn on the regular TV, because it's always the regular TV. You turn it on for 1 second and it sees, you see one, you put on local news and it automatically just, I wish just, and I don't have to deal with it. But unfortunately, that's how the TV works. You turn it on, and I have to listen to some idiot for 5 seconds, but then you turn on the PS4, and then switching to PS4. Hit enter. Enter. And then I have what I actually want. But 10-second time frame, I have to listen to, hello, I'm David Muir, and tonight, Trump, the racist king of Sodom and Gomorrah, has destroyed the nation. Martha Raddatz, let's go to you. Thank you, David. And it's clear that Donald Trump is a maniac. And then you have to listen to that for that 10-second time frame. And it kills you just in that 10 seconds. I wish I could just switch it immediately. Seven. I apologize. 7. But ask now the beasts, and they shall teach thee, and the fowls of the air, and they shall tell thee. That's right! Why not slow down for a moment and just, like when I got home last night, and I just looked up, looked at the moon, looked at the stars. We had a couple of our trees cut down. The city cut them down because apparently they had termites in them, so whatever. They were beautiful trees, but they cut them down. And you just take a minute to look up into the sky, and you just look at God's wonder, His creation. It's just so majestic, so mysterious, so mind-boggling and amazing. Just take a second and slow down and just look at God for a second and listen to Him and think for just a moment. Slow it down. Praise God. 8. Or speak to the earth, and it shall teach thee, and the fishes of the sea shall declare unto thee. Who knoweth not in all these that the hand of the Lord hath wrought this? So the response to the not necessarilies and Job, this world is perfect, alright? The law is the law, and it works out perfectly. The evildoer he gets smote, and then the good guy always gets away with the goods. The response is, no, it doesn't play out like that. Have you lived a day? Have you met my coworker? She has a lot of problems. God bless her. I need another cup of coffee. Who knoweth not in all these that the hand of the Lord hath wrought this? In whose hand is the soul of every living thing, and the breath of all mankind? Doth not the ear try words, and the mouth taste his meat? With the ancient is wisdom, and in length of days understanding. With him is wisdom and strength. He hath counsel and understanding. Behold, he breaketh down, and it cannot be built again. He shutteth up a man, and there can be no opening. Behold, he withholdeth the waters, and they dry up. Also he sendeth them out, and they overturn the earth. With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. Isn't that amazing beyond amazing? With him is strength and wisdom. The deceived and the deceiver are his. He leadeth counselors away spoiled, and maketh the judges fools. Whew. He looseth the bond of kings, and girdeth their loins with a girdle. He leadeth princes away spoiled, and overthroweth the mighty. He removeth away the speech of the trusty, and taketh away the understanding of the aged. He poureth contempt upon princes, and weakeneth the strength of the mighty. He discovereth deep things out of darkness, and bringeth out to light the shadow of death. He's describing the magnificence of God and the infinite, it's indescribably amazing what he's describing. It's describing God and how my puny brain doesn't begin to comprehend him. He's right. He's dead on. And these idiots on Daystar, and these idiots every day that I encounter, and these idiots and idiots. They don't, this Zophar and Eliphaz. Don't you know this? God is beyond comprehension. You know? How magnificent. How he's God. And I'm just a man. And I sit here in sackcloth and ashes, and I beg for mercy, and I cling to Christ. And I don't begin to know anything. He poureth contempt upon princes, and weakeneth the strength of the mighty. He discovereth deep things out of darkness, and bringeth out to light the shadow of death. He increaseth the nations, and destroyeth them. He enlargeth the nations, and straighteneth them again. He taketh away the heart of the chief of the people of the earth, and causeth them to wander in a wilderness where there is no way. They grope in the dark without light, and he maketh them to stagger like a drunken man. You know what that sounds like in those last two verses? That sounds like Nimrod. Tower of Babel, you know. He was the first dictator, I think. Well, at that time, after the flood, you know. Nimrod was probably the first dictator of that time, and he was probably chief of the people of the earth. And their plan was to build this tower in defiance of God, and at the roof of it was a stargate, and they were planning to kill God somehow, I don't know. But what did God do? He made them all speak Japanese. And then some of them started saying, I think I'm turning Japanese, I think I'm turning Japanese, I really think so. And then everybody ran away from those guys, and then some people were speaking Arabic, some people were speaking Russian, some people were speaking Chinese, and that was the end of that. And he maketh them to stagger like a drunken man. Yes. Without Christ, without the light of Christ, that's what I am. I'm just a wandering idiot. All right, we'll continue with chapter 13 next time. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.